it pretty clear that you know where you stand with me. Like, the way we are with each other and the way that you speak to me, and, like, pretty much since I've got in here, you've been like, there's no one else I want to get to know.
She's a nice girl. Like, I'd be silly just to say, oh, sorry, I can't. I'm completely closed off.
Okay, I'm going to say it. Be careful how someone treats their ex, how someone treats their mother, because that's how they're going to treat you. And Joey has done that. He's done this to Samantha, and now he's doing it to Grace. And Grace is suddenly crying, oh, why me, why me? What did you think when he was kissing you and hugging you in front of Samantha? Samantha was not the best connection for him, but when he was doing that with you, you were okay with it. Now he's doing the same with somebody else. Now you're a victim. Please sit down. We're not here for it. And then Kieran. I love Kieran. But I think his smoke should have not been for Harriet. If he had smoke, if he felt some type of way about people mocking him for sleeping with a 28-year-old woman, a woman who's 28 years older than him, he should have, targeted the people that mocked him for that. You should have targeted the people that mocked him for cheating instead of him targeting Harriet. But anyway, I digress. Hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 11, Episode 21. The hypocrisy in the villas is always shocking because you always get the boys are very intimidated when their girls sort of see someone, and so they make their girls feel guilty, and then when it's their turn, they're okay with getting to know other people. That doesn't make sense. So you have Joey and Jess go on a date with the new bombshells, Trey and Jessy with a Y, and Joey is ecstatic as soon as he sees her. I think she's his type, and then when she tells him that she's an brand promoter or something like that, he gets even more excited. He's more flirty, he's more giggly. He's asked, so are you closed off or what? And he's very vague in where he stands. This is the same thing that Grace did, and then when Connor picked her, she became upset. So why is he making it seem like he's open to getting to know this girl, and then when he gets to Grace, he'll pretend like no, nothing happened? I don't get it. The two of them need to go home if they're going to be this messy. For just to be impressed by the fact that someone went to uni. Okay, that says a lot about her. That really says a lot about her and why she behaves the way she behaves. This is why I always feel like she's intimidated by some of the islanders who are more academic than her, more intelligent or more articulate than her. And this is why she resorts to being a mean girl, because she has nothing to back up. Yeah, she might have gone to uni. I don't know her, but I was surprised that she was taken aback by the fact that someone went to uni. She didn't even know what course he did, but she was impressed by the fact that he went to uni. For all she knows, he could have gone there and studied, or he could have, had this business studies degree or whatever. But she's just impressed by that. Anyway, I'm not knocking those degrees, but I think there are others that you could do that are more, hey, it is what it is. And so back in the villa, everyone is sort of talking about this heart rate challenge. The fact that Grace is feeling some type of way, you have Harriet is not bothered. You have Matilda saying she's not sure how she feels, and it's like, Matilda, let everyone know the truth. You're not really feeling Sean the way you're making out you're feeling him. Why are you pretending like, it's the end of the world? So I don't know. We'll see how Grace addresses the heart rate challenge with Joey. But the fact that Ayo raised her heart rate is quite telling that she has a type. She has a type. She flirted with Oma, she flirted with Connor, and now her heart rate is raised by Ayo. Make it make sense. Anyway, you have Kieran sort of speaking to Ronnie. He's sort of upset. He's sort of discussing the fact that Nicole is unhappy that, his heart rate was raised by Grace. And I know a lot of people are now saying it. I said it before, that he doesn't deserve to be with someone who criticizes him for his age. Nicole is acting more immature than someone who's only 21 years old. So I don't get why she's with this man. She needs to go home, work on her insecurities before she gets into a relationship. Because otherwise, this man is going to be a shadow of his former self, because he's constantly bending and contorting himself to try and meet her needs. And that's not fair. You have Will and Oma. They're excited that they raised each other's heart rates, which is good. And then Oma is now having a conversation with Nicole, and Nicole is sort of talking about, and it's like, please, for the love of Christ, what has this man done? He hasn't flirted with anyone. He said he's interested in someone, but he won't pursue it because he's with you. What more do you want him to do? What more do you want him to do? Imagine if you're in the villa where he's meant to explore connections and you're behaving in this way. What about when you go into the real world? You're going to lock him up in a room and not allow him to leave the house because anybody that says hello, you're in hysterics. I think he needs to explore other connections. Yes, he really likes it, but I think it's time. He needs to move on. He needs to try something else and see if something else works better than this, because this is not working for him. This is definitely not working for me as is one of his stronger supporters. So I think it's time we move on from Nicole. Anyway, you have Matilda speak to, Sean, and they're discussing the challenge, and it's just like, I really don't get them as a couple. I feel like that's a relationship of convenience. I feel like something is not right with them, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when other bombshells come in, or if they do get to Casa to see whether Matilda is still feeling him the same way he feels, the same way she feels about him at the moment, or whether it was just a charade while she was waiting for someone to come in. And then Ayo is crazy. Ayo is now scared because Mimi's heart rate was raised by Connor, and because Connor had the cojones to go after Grace, he is now thinking, what if Connor goes after my girl? That's the impression that I get. He's now thinking, what if Connor goes after my girl? Because they have a conversation about the heart rate challenge and how they feel, and then Mimi, he's saying I have to pull Connor for a chat, and it's like, why do you want to pull Connor for a chat? Do you want to sort of warn him to stay away from Mimi, or what? What are you trying to do? Why do you need to have a conversation? And I love the fact that Mimi said, if he pulls me to the hideaway, I will go and have a conversation, and then I'll leave. And it's like, oh my God, this man is quaking in his boots. Please leave him alone. Please, please, please. Don't scare the life out of him. So it's going to be interesting to see them and see how they progress. So you have Ronnie and Jessy come back with the two bombshells, and be mindful of how someone treats their ex, because that's exactly how they're going to treat you. Grace sat there and watched him treat Samantha like crap, and she enjoyed it because she was the one who was receiving all the royal treatment. Now it's on the shoes on the other foot. She's now crying wolf. Please sit down. We're not here for it. You have the guys go for a chat with Trey, and then you have the girls go for a chat with Jessy. And it was interesting because OG Jessy tried to make it seem like Trey was all in for her and he wasn't interested in anyone else, and she was all in for him, and so sort of like marking her territory to tell all the girls that you need to all stay clear. And it's like, why should they stay clear? Everybody's there to explore a connection. Just because he picked you doesn't mean he's married off to you. I hope he doesn't couple up with her. I hope he couples up with somebody else, because even he was saying she's very powerful, and like she's very powerful in what? What do you mean by she's very powerful? She's very disrespectful and she's a bully when she wants to be, but she's not powerful. In what sense is she powerful? I don't get it. Or maybe he meant she's very intimidating. What is it? I don't get it. So Joey, when he was asked by the guys, how did you feel? He was fluttering. He didn't even know what to say. And then for Jessy, the new girl, to say, he says he doesn't know where he stands. It's like, well, Joey strikes again. And for Grace to feel some type of way, what do you expect, Sherlock Holmes? What did you expect? You watched him treat Samantha like crap, and now it's your turn. So please sit down and keep quiet. For her to still be holding on to it, I don't get it. Then you have Ronnie and Joey sit down for a chat. I said this before during the Samantha situation. Now I'll say it again. Joey knows who to pull for advice, depending on the advice that he wants, because he knows he wants someone to encourage him to go ahead with this new connection. This is why he's pulled Ronnie, because he knows Ronnie will always humor him in whatever nonsense he wants to come up with or to do or carry out or whatever. So I'm not surprised that he pulled Ronnie for a chat. And I can tell that he's interested because both girls look more or less the same. I don't know whether they're the same age, but they look more or less the same. And the fact that she says she lives in London already, I think is a good thing for him, because, he want someone who lives down south. So there you go. All the islanders get ready for bed. And you have Grace still feeling some type of way. And it's like, why are you feeling some type of way? You knew it. It's your fault. You should have pursued Omar when you started having a conversation, knowing that he was your type, but you didn't want to. You got Omar in trouble. Karma is, it's your turn now to sit there and cry while Joey does his own thing. I hope Connor, doesn't entertain you anymore. I hope he decides to go after the bomb. Well, I wanted him to go after Matilda, but it seems Matilda is happy with Sean for some reason, because you can see them making out in bed. Anyway, it is what it is. The islanders go to sleep. So in the morning, as usual, they have a mini debrief. And what do you think they're talking about? It's Joey and Grace and Jessy, the new bombshell. And then we're hearing about Jessy and Trey. And it's like, oh my God. The way Jessy is making out like this man was served on a platter for her, I don't get. Her excitement at seeing him. He brought her a coffee and everyone was excited that at least she was getting the attention she needed. But still, she's overdoing it. Oh, she was talking. They did have a conversation. What do you like to do after work? What do you run? Do you gym? How many times do you go to the gym? So that was cute to see that they were asking a lot more questions than, oh, you look sexy, you look sexy. But still, I don't think he's it for her. I think he could do better. I would rather he pursue some of the other girls, maybe Matilda or even what's the name? Harriet. I think that would make more sense. And then the love triangle starts. You have, Grace sulking to Harriet that, oh, I don't like the way Joey's behaving. He needs to pull me for a chat. He hasn't pulled me for a chat. And it's like, oh my God, this is getting old. Old. Just to summarize the whole situation, she is upset that Joey seems interested in the new bombshell. Joey is telling all the guys and anyone with ears to hear that he's really interested in the new bombshell. And so what she doesn't get, I do not get. They did not close things off. The moment he kicked off about Connor, that's the moment she should have had the closed off situation. But she didn't want to have the closed off conversation because she said she doesn't believe in the word closed off. Now Joey is showing his ass. She's now crying, why me? For her to sit with the girls and say, oh, this is the same way he behaved on the outside, it was just him and me, and then suddenly he changed overnight and now he's doing the same thing. Well, he showed you the first time who he is, you didn't believe him, so keep it moving. If he is not your person, you can't keep forcing a relationship with someone who has no respect, no value, no appreciation of you. Keep it moving, love. There are other fish in the sea. You can go and try things with Connor, but I think Connor has moved on. Joey was venting to the guys about this Grace situation and talking about, Jessy. And as soon as Jessy came, he flew from the floor. He sped, and the guys were even mocking him that, oh my God, the speed with which he got up and he ran to have a conversation with her. I think Joey really likes the new Jessy. I think Joey really likes, whether it's because she's a brand influence manager or something like that, or whether it's the way she appears, he's really keen. And sadly for Grace, she has to learn the hard way. And I don't know what it's going to take for her to realize that this is not her man. It's time to move on and find someone who is for her. And she needs to apologize to Omar and Connor because of the hassle that they faced as a result of her playing games. She played stupid games. She's won her prize. She needs to keep it moving. Anyway, the girls start to get ready for the night. So the Islanders played this truth or dare game. Well, before they played this game, I think they were told they were going to play a game. So Kieran sort of had to have a disclaimer with his partner to tell her that if anything happens during the game, just take it for what it is. It is a game, and that's it. If we have to kiss someone, don't take it personally. And she's like, well, that's what I always want to hear. And it's like, oh my God, what sort of relationship are you having where you have to have a disclaimer in every single situation you're in? You can't just sort of do anything without having to ask for permission. Make that make sense. I don't get it, and I don't get why this boy continues to be in this situation when it's not necessary. And then so they play truth or dare, and for me, what I'm going to say is I didn't bother to write down the questions just because it's unnecessary. Then I'd have to go through who answered yes or no, and I'm not going to do that. I think Joey, the one about having sex in public, I think he's trying to prove a point. I think he's trying to show Grace that what we have is not really that Ed, and he's trying to find an out from his connection with Grace. That way he doesn't feel guilty. Because he started listing all the places that he's had sex, and eventually they had to say, no, you've given us enough. Because that's way too much. And then you had the situation about having sex with an older person who's 20 years older. And I think the producers put this in just to be messy because they wanted to out Kieran. And so they outed Kieran, Connor and Trey. And so it was really sad because Mimi was like, what do you even talk about in that situation? How can an 18-year-old have sex with a 48-year-old. That he's old enough to be her son. He's old enough to be her son. So that is sort of borderline. Well, it's not statutory rape because he's over 16, but still, that's some form of abuse. Because yeah, he's an adult or he's grown enough to consent, but did he really consent, or was he sort of groomed into that situation? That doesn't make sense. About the cheating, well, the fact that people praised Sean for cheating doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Because Sean admitted he cheated, apparently kissed someone on a night out. I think he's saying some of these things to be cool. Because he doesn't have any game and we haven't seen any game. So the idea that he would have cheated on someone, I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating him. And then the question about the being two-faced. It says more about Nicole than it says about Harriet. Because Nicole must have gone and told Kieran something. This is why he had so much smoke for Harriet. And so the audacity to call Harriet out, they've always had issues. Because if I remember very well, Harriet and Kieran coupled up on day one, and then there was the situation with Nicole, and then things went south and whatever. But still, he didn't need to do that. And for Matilda to be one of Harriet's friend and still ask, people to repeat what Kieran said doesn't make sense. I think it was incorrect. I think it was wrong, and I think it was very bad, and it's a big red flag. As much as I love Kieran, I have to call him out on this. Yes, Harriet might have been two-faced, but so has every other person been in the villa. Even he himself has done that. And so I don't get why he had so much smoke for her and doesn't seem to have the same amount of smoke for his girl when she plays up and she throws tantrums and throws a fit. So that I didn't like. I hope at some point when cooler heads prevail, he's able to apologize, because that's not a good look. He can't be going head to head with a girl like that. If it was a guy, it's one thing. But for him to go head to head with a girl and say some sort of vindictive or malicious stuff, that I don't agree with. And for some of the other islanders to laugh, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that Nicole tried to sort of get a point with her boyfriend or with her partner by sort of revealing what one of the other girls had said. That's not a good look. That is really not a good look. Anyway, I can't wait to see what happens after the fallout. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 20. Bye guys.